So good afternoon my SSE 104 family. I hope you are all okay and are doing well today. So before I start, let me introduce myself. I am Celine Jane Puerto Cabasag, taking up Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Social Studies from section Prophet Isaiah PMGO1. And as a final requirement in this subject, at this moment, I am going to present to you one country, all about its informations like customs, traditions, culture, epistemology of the name, and most especially, places and landscapes that are considered as the best tourist spot that travelers often visit and those that we wish to visit soon. So please bear with me until the end of the presentation, even though we are all tired because of the class schedule we have today that is, to be honest, is very hectic. And I am looking forward that you'll gather learnings from today's presentation. So are you familiar with this, or do you know what country it is? If you think it's France, then you're right. And this is the country that we are going to talk about today. So it's part of the countries that I myself wish to visit in the future. But to be honest, it's not the first option, or it is not the country na una kong gustong bisitahin, for I do wish to visit South Korea first for a reason that I am influenced by K-dramas that I often watch during my free time, and I became a K-drama addict during my high school days. And I also do like to visit first Italy, where the Vatican City is located, since as a Roman Catholic, it is really an honor for me to be able to be in a place or to visit the Vatican City, which is considered as the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church and is considered as the holy city for Catholics. And one also that interested me to go to the Vatican City is because I wanted to visit the St. Peter's Basilica, that is considered as one of the Catholic Church holiest temple and an important pilgrimage site. But I'll never have a chance to report or present to you these countries since may naunang nakapili nito, but I know they have already given you enough information about it. So yung naging third option ko to visit is the country France, which is also really a good place and talagang dinadayo rin ng mga turista because of its beautiful tourist spots and beautiful places and landscapes. So let us know first about the epistemology of the name of France. France, its name itself came from the Latin word Francia, which means the land of the Franks. Originally, it applied to the whole empire of the Franks, extending from southern France to eastern Germany. Modern France is still called Frankreich in German and similar to names in some other Germanic languages such as Frankreich in Dutch, which means Frankreich, the realm of the Franks. Also, as a brief history, bago tawaging France ang bansang ito, it has an old name. France was originally called Gaul by the Romans, who gave the name to the entire area where the Celtics lived. This was a time of Julius Caesar's conquest of the area in 51 to 58 BC. France is one of the oldest countries in Europe. The history of France dates back to ancient times, but the nation of France itself did not begin to form until the early Middle Ages. Today, France is known all over the world for its art, architecture, fashion, cuisine, and literature. The capital of France, which is Paris, is considered by many to be one of the most beautiful cities on earth. For its geography, France is the largest country in Western Europe and has long been a gateway between the continent, northern and southern regions. Its lengthy borders touch Germany and Belgium in the north, the Atlantic Ocean in the west, the Pyrenees Mountain, and Spain in the south. Wide fertile plains dominate most of the north and west, making France the agricultural epicenter of Europe. The sprawling forested plateau of the massive Central, a range of ancient mountains and extinct volcanoes, occupies France's southern interior. So due to the fertile land of France, ito yung naging sentro ng agrikultura sa buong continent ng Europe, especially sa hilaga at kanlurang bahagi ng kontinente. And also, the geography of France consists of a terrain that is mostly flat plains or gently rolling hills in the north and west, and mountainous in the south, including the massive Central and the Pyrenees. And the east, the highest point being in the Alps. Also, metropolitan France has a total size of 551,695 kilometers squared, and it is the third largest country in Europe by area after Russia and Ukraine, and the largest in Western Europe. So its land features are part of the many reasons why France is unique and is beautiful to the eyes of people, especially to the tourists. For its nature, France has ample land area to provide habitat for a wide variety of plants and animals. More than 25% of its territory is covered with forest and another 50% is countryside or farmland. Lowland forests are home to deer and wild boar, while the woodlands of the Alps and Pyrenees provide refuge for rare chamois, antelope, ibex, brown bears, and alpine hares, among many other species. The Mediterranean coastlines is a stopover of millions of migrating African birds, including flamingos, vultures, egrets, and bee-eaters. The French government has made a broad commitment to preserving open spaces and the wildlife they contain. About 10% of the country has been set aside as national or regional parklands and nature reservoirs. Next one, to know more about France, we should talk about its culture. For its people and culture, France is one of the oldest nations on earth and the most ethnically diverse country in Europe. These deep and broad influences have made France a world leader throughout history in nearly all aspects of culture, including cuisine, winemaking, politics, philosophy, music, art, film, fashion, literature, and sports. French culture was historically shaped by Celtic, Roman, and Germanic cultures. As these influences evolved, France became a patchwork of local communities and customs. What's true for one community may not be true for another. Despite the growing global culture today, France has made an effort to preserve the cultures of its smaller communities. When it comes to language naman, as the official language of France, French is the first language of 88% of the population. Even then, most others speak French as a second language. However, minority languages flourish in specific regions. For example, eastern provinces speak German while Flemish is spoken in the northeast and Italian is spoken in the southeast. Other communities within France speak several other languages. While the family in France, family has served as the founding unit of French society for generations. Traditionally, the family structure could include either extended families or nuclear families. In recent years, the structure has shifted to primarily reflect nuclear families as well as variations such as single-parent households or civil unions known as pacts. For the religion in France naman, most French citizens consider themselves to be Christians, primarily Catholic. Historically, Catholicism played a significant role in shaping French culture and was the state religion until 1789. In French tradition, kings were even crowned within the Notre Dame de Reims Cathedral until 1825. Most of the remaining populations today identifies as agnostic or atheist. However, there are also significant groups of Muslim, Jewish, and Buddhist residents in modern France. As for the French values naman, the French motto, liberty, equality, and fraternity, reflects the values of French society. Equality and unity are important to the French. The French also value style and sophistication, and they take pride in the beauty of artistry of their country. Family is also highly valued in French culture. Meal times are often shared with family and extended family gatherings, and meals are common over the weekend. For French cuisine, meals in French are meant to be enjoyed. Food is made with great care and meal times are a prime time for socializing. While French cooking is recognized around the world, there are many varieties in cooking styles, ingredients, and dishes from region to region. For example, Normandy cuisine is known for seafood and cheeses, while Burgundy is known for beef. That being said, traditional French cuisine is characterized by its cheeses, wines, breads, and sauces. Recently, French cuisine has shifted to reflect lighter fare rather than the more traditional heavy sauces and complicated preparations. So it is clearly stated in the culture of France. Meal times are really valuable, especially to family members. Breakfast also in French culture is typically light, a French pastry or bread served with hot beverage. Lunch and dinner, on the other hand, are considered to be the main meals of the day. Formal meals will have four courses, a starter, a salad, a main course, and a cheese or dessert course. Commonly no atong madunggan nga breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Dili ta mubuylo og kaon, pero in France, light lang ang ilahang breakfast and lunch and dinner ang ilahang main meal. French cuisine is really part of those we must try in visiting France, for their foods are really delicious and can really catch your attention. Some of the foods we must try are the moules frites or the moules frites, the cassoulet, the stick frites, the boeuf bourguignon, raclette, and many others. As for the French fashion, Paris is often regarded as the fashion capital of the world. It is home to several worldwide brands such as Louis Vuitton and Chanel. France became a major influencer in fashion beginning with the reign of Louis XIV in the 1600s. During that time, France became known for its luxury goods throughout Europe. Today, French style can be described as sophisticated and fashionable. A typical outfit may include dresses or suits with long coats and scarves. So, mostly makita nato no when we search or i-search nato ang kasagaran nga suot sa mga French people kay naka-coat jud na sila. That is because that is their common fashion style in their country. While when it comes to French art and media naman, the arts are deeply appreciated in French traditions. Hobbies and professions are historically shown deep respect for the craftsmanship that goes into them. French literature, painting, and cinema are all historically significant around the world. Works such as Les Miserables or artists such as Monet are some of the most recognizable in the world. So in France, part na sa ilahang tradisyon ang art and ginatagaan jud ni nila og importance knowing nga daghan kaayo og artists nga famous from their country like Monet. Since art is historically significant for them, it became part of their culture. So that would be all regarding their culture, and now I'll introduce to you some places that are really wonderful and must visit in France. So hindi ko sinama lahat, rather ito lang yung mako-consider natin na pinakasikat or ito lang yung pinaka-dinadayo para sa susunod when you will be given a chance to travel to France is may idea na tayo saan tayo pupunta or ano yung mga places and landscapes na magandang puntahan. And later on, I'll give you some tips for traveling aligned with the customs and traditions of France para maging responsible traveler tayo at para we can visit the country without any other complications, especially nga lahi-lahi taog naandan and maybe what we used to do that is okay in our country is not okay for them. So better know their country more. So here are the tourist attractions in France. The first tourist attraction is the Eiffel Tower. The symbol of Paris, the Eiffel Tower is a feat of ingenuity as much as it is a famous landmark. This structure of 8,000 metallic parts was designed by Gustave Eiffel as a temporary exhibit for the World Fair of 1889. Originally loathed by critics, the 320-meter high tower is now a beloved and irreplaceable fixture of the Paris skyline. The Eiffel Tower's gracefulness has earned the nickname of Iron Lady. Visitors are impressed by the tower's delicate airiness despite its monumental size and the breathtaking panoramas at each of the 3 levels. Tourists can dine with a view at the first level or indulge at the Michelin-starred Le Jules Verne restaurant on the second level. At the accelerating height of 276 meters, the top level offers sweeping outlook over the city of Paris and beyond. Vistas extend as far as 70 kilometers and on a clear day. So itong Eiffel Tower, ito yung sikat sa France, and to be honest, ito yung kauna-unahang na-introduce sa akin that made me become interested in this country. Parang itong Eiffel Tower ang nagtutulak sa akin to visit this place, as imagining being on the top of the tower, parang ang relaxing niya, and for me parang ang sarap siguro sa pakiramdam when nakatungtong ka talaga doon sa top ng tower. Sa picture pa nga lang, you can see na lapas kayo siya sa other building. So when you are at the top, you can really look at the city. The second tourist destination is the Musée du Louvre. The Louvre Museum is a stately place that was once a royal residence. The Louvre Museum ranks among the top European collections of fine arts. Many of Western civilization's most famous works are found here, including the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci, the Wedding Feast at Cana by Veronese, and the 1st century BC Venus de Milo sculpture. The collection owes its wealth to the contributions of various kings who lived in the Louvre. Other pieces were added as a result of France's treaties with the Vatican and the Republic of Venice and from the spoils of Napoleon I. The Louvre displays around 35,000 artworks, including countries' masterpieces. It's impossible to see it in a day or even in a week. So this Louvre Museum is really a best place to visit in France, lalo na sa mga mahihilig sa art. Imagine 35,000 artworks ang naadre. So mabusog jud ang imuhang mata og tinanaw sa nagkalaing-laing artworks na binuhat pa sa mga famous artists na ang uban is nangamatay na. So for an art lover like me na naga-engage pod og buhat og lain-laing klaseng artworks, then this place will really be the best and will give artists motivation to continue their passion in doing artworks. The third one, or the third tourist destination, is the Chateau de Versailles. The Chateau de Versailles emblematizes the grandeur and the French monarchy prior to the fall of the ancient regime. The UNESCO-listed monument represents a glorious moment of France's history under the reign of Louis XIV, known as the Sun King, when the palace set the standard for princely courts in Europe. The most spectacular space in the palace is the Hall of Mirrors, where courtiers waited for an audience with His Majesty. The dazzling gallery sparkles with sunlight that enters through the windows, and it reflects off hundreds of ornamental mirrors, while dozens of glittering chandeliers and glided details make the overall impression even more marvelous. Gardens, as the Palace of Versailles is equally renowned for Les Jardins, formal French gardens featuring decorative pools, perfectly trimmed shrubbery, numerous statues, and magnificent fountains. The gardens were created in the 17th century by renowned landscape designer André de Notre and are surrounded by 800 hectares of lush parkland. So as you can see in this picture, the garden is an example of the beautiful landscapes we can see in France. So sa katong hilig og pool, ligo-ligo while relaxing at the beautiful view of nature, then it is the best spot for you. The fourth tourist destination is the Côte d'Azur, the most fashionable stretch of coastline in France. The Côte d'Azur extends from Saint-Tropez to Menton near the border with Italy. Côte d'Azur translates to Coast of Blue, a fitting name to describe the Mediterranean's mesmerizing cerulean waters. To English speakers, the glamorous seaside destination is known as the French Riviera, words that had a ring of sun-drenched decadence. During summer, the seaside resorts are packed with beach lovers and sun worshippers. The rich and famous are also found here in their lavish villas and luxury yachts. The town of Nice has panoramic sea views and stellar art museums. Cannes is famous for its celebrity film festival and legendary hotels. The best sandy beaches are found in Antibes, which also has a atmospheric old town and superb museums. Saint-Tropez offers fabulous public and private beaches along with the charm of provincial ambience and stunning scenery. So sa katong hilig mga ligo og dagat, especially pag summer, then trip ninyo moadto sa France, then the Côte d'Azur must be in your must visit list. The fifth tourist spot or tourist destination is the Mont Saint Michael. Rising dramatically from a rocky isle of the Normandy coast, the UNESCO-listed Mont Saint Michael is one of France's most striking landmarks. This pyramid of the bay and surrounded by imposing defensive walls and bastions. The main tourist attraction, the Abbaye de Mont Saint Michael, is a marvel of medieval architecture with soaring Gothic spires. Visitors are awed by the serene beauty of the Abbey Church with its harmonious Romanesque nave and ornate, high-vaulted choir. Since it was built in the 11th century, the Abbey Church has been an important Christian pilgrimage destination known as the Heavenly Jerusalem. Modern-day pilgrims are still inspired by Mont Saint Michael and continue the tradition of crossing the bay by foot as it was done in the Middle Ages. So if moadto ka of France and you want to go to church or ma-experience mo simba in this country, then try to visit this place. Next one is if you want to visit a flat area lang but has a very dreamy ambience, then Provence is the best option. Provence invites visitors to escape into a dreamy, bucolic landscape of olive groves, sand-drenched rolling hills, and deep purple lavender fields, with little villages nested in the valleys and perched on rocky outcrops. The vibrant scenery has enchanted many famous artists. The rustic natural beauty, country charm, and a laid-back atmosphere of Provence allows the region's art de vivre to flourish. Sultry weather encourages leisurely strolls along cobblestone streets and afternoons spent on sunny terraces of outdoor cafes. So sa katong mga hilig og lavender, ganahan magsuloy-suloy og gardens, then it is the best place. And last one, nag-include na ako sa must-visit place and landscape in France is the Chamonix Mont Blanc. The awesome spectacle of Mont Blanc is the French Alps, or in the French Alps, is an unforgettable sight. The highest mountains peak in Europe, Mont Blanc soars to 4,810 meters. Thanks to this elevation, Mont Blanc, or the White Mountain, is always blanketed in snow. So beneath its majestic peak is the traditional alpine village of Chamonix, nestled in a highly mountain valley. This quaint little town is filled with historic churches, traditional alpine restaurants, and charming auberges. Chamonix is a great base for skiing, hiking, rock climbing, and outdoor adventures, or just relaxing. This delightful village is one of the best places to visit in France for inspiring natural scenery and alpine accommodations. Upscale mountain lodges and cozy chalets welcome guests in style. So katong hilig og mountain climbing and want to exercise also hiking in the snow, then it's the best place for you. So that would be all regarding the tourist spots that must visit in France. Honestly, daghan pa kaayo, but I am only given an ample time, so kana lang sang 7 or I guess 9 ang ako ang i-introduce. But if you want to know more about other tourist spots, you can search it on Google naman, and all the informations are listed there. So before I ended up my presentation, since we are talking about traveling here, I'll give you some tips on traveling that were aligned to the traditions in France for us to be guided and be responsible traveler, knowing that we differ on everything. So here are the tips, and it is separated between greetings, public behavior, and eating. So if you travel to France, understanding these French traditions might help you prepare. First is in greetings. The number 1, kissing on the left cheek and then the right cheek is common greetings for informal woman to man or woman to woman or man to woman interactions, while handshakes are common greetings for man to man interactions or formal settings. When getting someone's attention, start by saying bonjour. In public behavior naman, patrons bag their own food at grocery stores. Then if you speak English, ask someone if they speak English before speaking to them in English. Next is, it is polite to be formal and reserved, particularly with strangers and acquaintances. And next is, quiet tones are expected in public. And lastly, for the public behavior is dressing down is not common in France. While in eating naman, beverages are served at room temperature rather than cold or with ice. If invited into a French home, it's customary to bring a small gift such as chocolates, flowers, or candies. Next is, appetizers are served with most meals, so don't fill up before the main dish is served. Next one is to know when to start eating or how to eat certain foods. Observe what the host does. And lastly, keep both hands at the table while eating, but keep your elbows off the table. And if you're ever uncertain how to behave while in France, observe what locals do. Mimicking the behaviors of French locals will help you remain polite and respectful to their culture and traditions. So French traditions and culture reflect the French values of unity, beauty, respect, and family. So that would be all. I hope you have learned something, and I hope this presentation will help you whenever the time comes na maka-travel pa sa France. And I hope we can really do it, as there is nothing impossible. So once again, bon après-midi, que Dieu te bénisse, au revoir.